Welcome to Curtis Goes Corner, coming to you from a secret underground base in occupied America. RFK Jr. says Biden much worse threat to democracy than Trump. Kennedy accused Biden of weaponizing federal agencies to censor his political opponents. Yeah. Independent presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. said Monday he believes President Biden presents a greater threat to democracy than former President Trump. Now, I've seen some polling when Biden, Trump, and RFK Jr. are all three in the mix. RFK Jr. does pull some votes from Trump, but I would say about two-thirds of the people that are going along with RFK Jr. are Democrats or very left-leaning independents. Kennedy said during an appearance on CNN's Out Front, they must have loved that, that Biden is much worse threat to democracy than Trump because the current president has been weaponizing federal agencies to censor his political opponents. In all fairness, to hear about the DOJ and all that are just independent agencies. And come on. You know, I'm not saying that every single thing they do, Biden tells them to do, but to say that he doesn't have an influence on them at all is just makes no sense at all. I can make the argument that President Biden is much worse, Kennedy said. And the reason for that is President Biden is the first candidate in history, the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech or censor his opponent. Notice he said censor political speech or censor his opponent. They're not the same. We're talking about what happens on social media and some of the things that have been discovered after the fact since the Republicans took over the Congress. Now, whether the Republicans, who are spineless, will do anything, that's a whole different story for another time. The greatest threat to democracy is not somebody who questions election returns, but a president of the United States who used the power of his office to force the social media companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to open a portal and give access to that portal to the FBI, CIA, IRS, NIH to censor his political critics. Yes, that is dangerous, incredibly dangerous. Open portal without a court order, without a judge's warrant. That's not good, guys. Not good at all. Kennedy Jr. initially challenged Biden for the Democratic Party's presidential nomination before launching a White House bid as an independent in October to take on Biden and Trump in the 2024 election. Now, he tried to do it the normal way, RFK Jr., and the Democrats just basically pushed him out and said there's a whole bunch of states he didn't qualify for and they wouldn't let him in and blah, blah, blah. So he said, to heck with it, and he became an independent. I'm not sure how many states he qualifies to be on the ballot for the presidential election. It's, I'm sure they'll be challenged in court. So, you know, when half your campaign money goes to lawyers, that's pretty sad. The comments come after Biden has made repeated claims that Trump is a threat to democracy over his role in the January 6th Capitol riot, for which the former president has been charged at the federal level. There's no connection. None. Absolutely zero between Trump and what happened on January 6th in the riot. Trump was falsely alleged over the past 3.5 years that the 2020 presidential election was stolen from him due to voter fraud, said in December that Biden is the real threat. Now, he didn't say Trump was a saint either, so that's probably why CNN let him continue to talk and didn't cut him off. I don't know if they did the interview live or not. CNN host Aaron Burnett pressed Kennedy on how Trump's alleged role in attempting to overturn the 2020 election results was not a threat to democracy. Kennedy admitted that the allegations against Trump do present a threat to democracy, but what they are, there's allegations. You have to go through the process. But that Biden's efforts to stifle speech are still worse. It's bad enough, RFK's basically saying it's bad enough to stifle your political opponent using the power of the presidency, i.e. the DOJ and other agencies. But it's much worse to censor and stifle free speech and citizens on social media platforms and other venues. That's basically what he's saying. I think that this is a threat to democracy if you're trying to overthrow the election. Clearly a threat, he said. But the question was, who was the worst threat to democracy? And then I would say, I'm not going to answer that question and argue that President Biden is, because the First Amendment, Aaron, is the most important. That's why it's first. When asked to clarify, he could make an argument that Biden is worse for U.S. democracy than Trump. Kennedy responded, absolutely. Now, this is on CNN. I guess what he's trying to say is they both suck, but Biden sucks more. I guess that's probably what he's trying to say. He is running against both of them. So to say that Trump did nothing and he's absolutely innocent, he won't say because he's his opponent. So take it with a grain of salt. But I do believe he believes that Biden is more of a threat to democracy than Trump is. That I do believe. Or you wouldn't have said it. Maybe it is to pander votes, but I don't think so. There's ways to get votes, pull votes away from Biden without doing that. I think he truly believes it. So we're going to have to see. Like I said, I've seen some polls in a three-way race. Also, you got to remember there's several states, if not all of them, they had the Green Party candidate. And also, I believe Professor, was it Cornell, I believe his name is? Cornell West, I'm not sure what his name is. He's on a lot of states as well. Ultra lefty. Same with the Green Party candidate. I don't think the Libertarians fielded a candidate at the state level for a presidential election. So there might be 5 on the ballot in many states, if not all. We're going to have to see. I know there's going to be 3 to 4 on almost all the states, if not all. We'll see if RFK Jr., and I'm sure the DNC will sue to get him off the ballot for the presidential election. But here it is, folks. Yeah, I think an executive, the president, using intelligence agencies to stifle speech is abhorrent. They used the intelligence service, the Republicans, in the early 1970s. I remember I was in high school. I just got out of high school in 74, just when Reagan resigned. Reagan and the Republicans used the intelligence service of the United States to go after Democrats as the political opponents. And basically went after the people he thought were the biggest threats in the Democrat Party, thus basically picking their nominee. And we know what happened on that. Now, that was done without Nixon's knowledge or approval, but later when he found out, he became involved in the cover-up, and that's why he ended up resigning. The only president ever to resign in the history of the United States. I think, if you want to compare the intelligence agencies helping the Republicans in the early 1970s, it's much, much less than what's going on now. It's 10 times more. We're going to have to see. We're going to have to see. But back then, no, even though there were two sides, the Republicans and the Democrats, when the facts were laid out in committee after committee in Congress, the Republicans went along with the impeachment. And that's when Richard Nixon knew the jig was up. You would never, ever get, if all facts are laid out to Congress, would you get 1, maybe 2 Democrats out of the whole bunch that would side with impeachment and trial for the president for accused indiscretion/crimes. And that's the difference. As partisan as it was back in 72, it's 50 times worse now. So we're going to have to see. But this is RFK's opinion. I think he truly believes it. He usually backs up his opinion with a lot of information and a lot of facts. So I think he got a lot of material and read a lot of material before he came to this conclusion. At least read a lot of material before he went on CNN and said it out loud. How they say he said the quiet part out loud. So anyway, folks, there it is. Until the next time, God bless, goodbye, and good luck.